Hi everyone and happy Monday 6th of March when this video is going out, so happy March. I may not have said that, probably didn't. And we're sort of coming into spring, which is exciting, but we have this I really like this picture of Johanna's. It's a little bit different. I've done it many times in many different ways, and what I thought that I would do today was do it in a different way to how I've done it before, just so it's a bit more fun for me. Now I've grabbed my Arrtx pencils because excuse me, because I want to do a blend of colour within the leaves. That's all I've planned so far, but I thought these blend quite nicely, so I'm just going to grab a few of them. A sort of dark, that's the dark green. Slightly lighter one, that's the apple green, and then a lighter one, which is the chartreuse. And I thought we could blend these three together through the leaves and then just see where it leads us, really. I am going to come in a lot closer though, because it's a bit far away. I could take you to just there though. Whoops, so we can see it all maybe. I'm going to start with the dark one. What I usually like to do with my darkest pencil is to do the stem and the base like that, and then just sort of fade it so that when we bring in our next colour we've got something to blend it into, which is nice and light, and I find that works well with all types of pencils. Now whether you're using excuse me, whether you're using wax or oil, I find that the method works. Obviously you can use different methods for the different types of pencil, but I find it isn't always necessary, for me anyway. That's how I do it. So I'm just showing you across some of it how I'm going to do all the green. So with a darker layer to start with, like this, all the stems and stalks in the dark green as well. Now you could use your Prismas for this if you don't have Arrtx, she says assuming you have Prisma, obviously you might not, or just any darker pencil. If you're using polychromos, then I would say probably the closest match might be the deep cobalt green, but I would tend to not use that. It's a little bit bluey. We're not really using other colours that are bluey, so I would probably go for maybe the chrome oxide fiery. Is that what it's called? Am I dreaming? No, that's not what it's called. The hang on, I've got a list here. Let's have a look. No, chromium green opaque, that's what I mean. It's not quite as dark as this, but I think it would work. The hooker's green might work. Now, I'm not going to do every leaf on this page because I think it's going to get really boring. And I haven't got a lot of voice, as you can hear already. I don't know why. I've not got anything wrong with me. So what I'm going to do is show you how to do the next green and the next one. I'm going to go away and do all the leaves on my own, and you can do the same thing because I'm going to do them all in the same way. And if anything crops up while I'm doing them that I think I might need to tell you about, I'll tell you. Sorry, I'll carry on with my apple green as I'm nattering on. So I'm going to, you know, blend it in and do this bit. Now, if you're finding they're not blending perfectly well, remember you've got another layer to go. I'm taking this right to the edge, but there's still a lighter green to go. Excuse me, I think I need a drink. So when I'm away colouring, I shall grab a drink. So if they're not layering up as nicely as you'd like, you can use a blending pencil. I suspect the Prismacolor one works nicely. I feel like this is a bit bitty, so I might do that in a minute. I might show you, I've got one here. I'll have a go to see if it works. I think there's quite a big difference in colour between these two. I think this is a bit of a problem with the Arrtx, is that it goes from dark to light quite quickly, There isn't a sort of mid-green, so you have to blend the dark and the light together. Sometimes a tip, if you take your dark all the way to the edge and just make it darker, more layered up nearer the bit you want darker, it's easier to blend it up, I find. There's a tip for you if you're struggling, but we'll try and persevere. But at the moment I think it looks a bit rubbish. I'm sure yours is looking much better than mine, to be honest, if you're trying to colour along, that is. The sun is shining on my book. I'm really sorry. I'm going to come in closer so that you can't see that, because I think it's really distracting. She says moving a book into the sun. Yeah, that was another problem I thought I might have. It's still shining right here. There. Sorry. Yeah, I was going to shut the blind and stuff, so I'll do that too. Sort of prep, unless the sun goes in by the time I finish. There's quite a lot here to do, to be honest. But there we go. So I'm sort of fading that one up on that bigger leaf. And then I take my chartreuse and just finish it off. So just take it all the way to the edge. I don't want to ideally put this over the darkest bit pencil because it will lighten it too much. But as I say, I think it looks a bit rubbish. This isn't improving it. It blends nicely with the apple, but it's just this dark green. It doesn't really want to blend. So we'll have a go. We'll have a go with the blending. I've got various blending pencils. We'll have a go with that. And if it, sorry, it's hard for you to see, I suspect, because of the sunshine. My camera also adjusts when the sun shines on it and goes dark. Let's do that. Okay, so I have got, what's this? This is the colourless blender. I need to scribble it on a piece of rough paper. I don't have any. Okay, I just wipe the end. So this is the Prisma one. So let's see how well that mixes up with the Prisma blender. It's hard to see on here. Let's do it on the big one. Sorry, it's in sort of shadow. It's a bit rubbish. To be honest, I'm not overly impressed with that. It does a bit. I can hear my computer making such a racket next door. It's doing a virus scan. Yeah, it's a bit better. We can certainly not see the tooth of the paper, but it's not really blending right into that as nicely as it could. I do have a Caran d'Ache blending stick. We'll try that on this one. Now, Caran d'Ache blending sticks can be absolutely rubbish with certain types of pencil. It's doing something, but not really. I'm not very impressed with that. It works really well on certain pencils, but I can't remember which ones. Very useful. Right, what else do we have here? We have a Derwent. No, the rest is all white. I have got a Derwent pencil. So I think the best thing to do is what I suggested, is to take the dark green. So you can build the colour up at the bottom anyway where you want it dark. And then just use the dark green to gently blend in. Like that. And I think if you fade it more carefully, or even take it much further up, it'll look better. This one's a bit tricky with these little strands, but I think if we take that in more darker there and then just fade it much further up, it should look a lot better, which is what I'll do on the rest, on my first layer. Excuse me. And then I think we've got more pencil there to play with when we're blending. So now if I put the apple green on top, you can blend it better. I think it looks better. So maybe I just need to put a bit more pencil down initially, take it a little bit further up with my fade. If you can't fade, I'll give you an alternative idea, because I know some of you have been saying, I haven't finished this bit yet, some of you have been saying you can't do it. So start with your lightest colour instead. Put a light layer down, an even light layer. Okay, so this is the chartreuse. Okay. Then get your next darkest layer, so your apple, and gently put it down, but not all the way. And as you go up, do you see I'm lifting my pencil off the page? That fades it. So when I contact the page here on my beginning of my stroke, it puts down a hard blob of pencil. And then as I lift it, it fades it. So that gives us a fade into the chartreuse, which is hard to see, but when we do go in with our dark layer, so here's the dark green, so you can go over your stalky bit quite hard, and then use this same technique. You have to see it a little bit more as she goes out the lines, and it just sort of fades in. So it's a different little method for you to try. It's not, I don't find it quite as neat as the other method, the method I use, but we're all different in what works. So there's just a different way. I think I'd take that colour a bit further up in my leaf, but I'm going to leave that now. I'm going to go away and finish all the leaves using exactly that method. I think it looks quite pretty. The darker one's probably a bit better, but I shall work through it all and come back, because we've got our flowers and our beetle and our mushrooms to do and things like that, and I'll show you those. But with the leaves, just to tell you in case you're going away to do it, but you can always see when you can always play on a little bit. These leaves, this stem, all of these leaves across the centre here, and then a few here, and these, okay, that I'm going to do. And I'll come back and add some other colours. Okay, and I might have worked out a better technique for blending, you never know, by the time I've done all of this. But I didn't want to do it all on camera because there's so many. But there was no need for me to show you them all because they're going to be the same. And the reason I used 3 different colours was to make it more interesting because there are so many. But if you aren't in the mood for blending, for using more than one colour, you can do all your leaves one colour. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Or you could do some dark, some middle, some light, but do them solidly. So do this one dark, this one dark green, this one apple green, this one chartreuse, this one dark green. You know, you could do it like that if that's easier for you. And you could always throw in a few other colours as well. I think there's a lighter chartreuse, there's a spring green, there's all sorts. So you could just mix and match loads of greens if you want it to look. Or you could do a rainbow of greens, starting with your darkest greens, do dark green leaves here, and then lighter and lighter through, if you wish. Just a few ideas in case you aren't interested in this one. But I shall be off. I don't know when I'm going to be back. It might be tomorrow. For you, it'll just be a few seconds. But for now, thank you, and I'll see you in a bit. Right, now that part is all done. It isn't as neat as it could have been, but I think from a distance, with the sort of spread of colour, I think it looks rather pretty, so I'm really pleased with how that's come out. And I have been having a little bit of thought about the other details as well. Now, I want to add some colour, obviously make it more colourful, but I'm thinking about the fact that on all these leaves we've completely ignored Johanna's sort of patterns on them all. So I feel like I should do the same with the flowers, or else it's going to look a little odd if I suddenly take notice of where all the petals and circles and things are. So that's something that occurred to me when I was colouring it. But let's come in a little closer and sort of do this lower section to start with. Now the circle all the way around the edge, not going to do that yet. So where I've done this stem here, I have just taken it near the edge but not quite. The circle sort of gets lost a bit in the stems there anyway, and these. So I'll have a think about that after. But I'm just grabbing my pencils. Now this toadstool, we have dots drawn on it. Again, I'm not taking notice of what she's drawn on it, so I'm going to ignore those and colour over them, or else I just don't think it will quite fit together, if that makes sense. So I'm going to start with this very dark red. This is called Crimson Lake, and I'm going to use it on the edge of my mushrooms / toadstools. It isn't quite as dark as the case of the pencil would indicate anyway, so that's good. So just like the leaves, I'm going to sort of put a darker bit and then fade it. You can put the dots on the toadstool mushroom if you really want to. I'm just trying to make it tight together really. So I'm just going to fade that towards the middle, just like I did. Well, I didn't do that with the leaves, but in a similar fashion. And I'm going to make this one the same colour. I want it to be bright and colourful, but I think I'm going to make these two the same colour and these three the same and these three the same. So I think it just sort of makes sense, really ties it together, that sort of thing. So as I say, this is the Crimson Lake. I can't remember actually if I did say. But I was just having a look while I was colouring. I always get a bit distracted and start looking at my computer. And well, I was chatting to a couple of people on there as well. So that was a nice happy distraction. But I had a quick look at the news, as I sometimes do. And poppy red. Actually, I looked at Facebook and there's a local post saying that a market stall in town has got lots of vegetables, because there's a bit of a shortage of vegetables in the UK at the moment. I'm not sure if I mentioned it in a video. Anyway, there's apparently, we import a lot at this time of year because our weather, we don't grow much here at this time of year. Get your winter cabbages and winter veg and things, but if you want nice crunchy salads and things, you have to import it. And of course, with us all being encouraged to eat a big variety of fruit and veg, which is lovely, you have to import if you want to be able to do that. Anyway, and there was this thing saying that the local, a stall in the market, because it's Friday today, and I'm just thinking, is that a colour? No, that's gone to peach. I don't want peach. I want a sort of orange if I can. Yeah, orange. I'm going to use orange. The stall in the market has lots of veg, but the photos show peppers and cucumbers and tomatoes, which are the thing that is short. But I'm wondering whether, do they really have those, or was that an old stock photo? You know, was it just trying to get us out there? And it's about to pour with rain, so I've decided that I'm not going to go and get them. And when we do, you know, with whatever we can get, there's plenty of veg around. It's just not, you know. This is 50, I think. Yeah, 50% warm grey. And I'm going to use it for these stems on these two. On the outside, this is quite thick actually. I'm going to try and fade it a bit to the middle. This stem is a bit thicker, so it can cope better. There we go. And then a lighter one. This is the 20%. Sorry, not sure if you could see that. Pencil names are quite hard to show you when they're metal like these. So we'll manage. I mean, the boys always have peppers in their lunch boxes, and so does husband. But you know. Right, these bluebells? I think so. What should we go for? We'll take a darkish blue first. What's that one? Yeah, the indigo blue. We use a little bit to start with. I haven't done those toad mushrooms, have I? It doesn't matter, we'll get there. So I'm just going to work a little bit the darker blue into the top and then fade it down. You don't need to be mega dark anyway. It's really, really dull. You know how it was sunny? Well, it was just sunny again. The sun came out and I contemplated closing the blind, but it is so dark now. I think I'm going to use this peacock blue, if I can get it out. There we go. I think it's rather pretty. It's not going to make it look like a bluebell, but I don't. Does it matter? Maybe. If you want a bluebell, then don't use this, because this is too green. I just think it looks nice. I'm going to fade it towards the end. I'm going to grab a third colour. Anyway, yes, it's really black. It's going to pour with rain, I reckon. We are forecast rain this afternoon. It's always hard to know whether the forecast is going to be right, because where I live has its own microclimate, which sounds really exciting, but it isn't. All it means is that you can't predict the weather. It's not warmer or colder or wetter or drier, it's just different. And I'm going to use the light cerulean blue. It's nice and sharp, isn't it? Just to finish off those tips. Try and blend it all in and up together. It takes away some of that greeniness. And for this one, I was very quiet then because I was trying to think of what colour to do these little ones. I'm no closer. I think maybe, yeah, I'm thinking maybe this lilac might be quite nice, just a bit different. I'm going to sharpen it though. Oops, you have to excuse the noise because I use my I always use my dowel for these because they're more vulnerable to breaking, I think. I've only had one break really badly, but because they remind me personally a bit more of prismas, I feel like I need to look after them a bit more. Whereas with my polychromos and my Staedtler pencils, I can drop them on the floor, throw them around and all sorts, and they don't break. Now I do want to fade towards the middle still. This is such a pretty colour. I just realised I haven't got my light on. Whoa! That was a bit bright, wasn't it? Oh, I hope that's not messed up the camera. I hope it wasn't too dark before. It helps me to see anyway. It's really, really bright now. I hadn't quite realised how dark it was in here. Oh dear, I hope the camera adjusted okay and you could see. So I'm going to darken those edges a bit. Now you could leave it there or you could add a bit of a darker purple. I think I'm just going to add a bit of Parma violet on the edges. I'm going to have to sharpen it, I think. I'll try without, actually, just to darken those edges a bit. Just about get away without sharpening it. There we go. Okay, and we've got these two flowers. They look quite different. I'm not sure whether to do them the same or different really. I am going to do the centres, like flower centres. You know how I said I was going to ignore Johanna's sort of detailing, not drawing. I'm going to use the yellow ochre for this one. I'm going to put it around the edge, quite lots of layers, and less towards the middle. It might look slightly three-dimensional. It's quite hard to do with yellow. Not really, no. Never mind, that's fine. Anyway, now I want pink. I think I'm going to use this one. This is called Blush Pink. It's quite a pale pink. I don't know if you can see that. And I'm just going to fade it towards the tip of the petal. So I'm actually only going to use the one colour on this one because it's such a delicate pink, but it fades nicely. And I just want it to look a little different really. Now I was also thinking about the background. Now we've got this sort of circle design, so we could just put a background inside the circle of something or other, or we could just put a background outside the circle, or we could do no background at all. I haven't decided. I was firstly thinking black, could do black pen background inside the circle, which would stand out quite a bit. I think we haven't got, although I thought this green might be a bit too dark. And then I thought maybe you could do the black on the outside of the circle. If you had a black alcohol marker, you'd want to put some pieces of paper behind the page to make sure it didn't seep through, but that could look quite nice. I'm going to use a different yellow for this flower centre. Oh, just going to grab it out. I'm going to use the canary yellow. Yeah, or you could do a black background for both and ignore the fact that there's a line around it, or just colour that line, or leave the line white. Or maybe the background of this needs to be blue, like sky. This is a carmine red. I'm hoping it's quite pink, but I'm not sure. I want it to be darkest around here, and then fade it out just the same as I did for that one, really. I thought it would be pinker than this, but it makes it look different to the other things. It's definitely pinker than these, so that's good. Yeah, so I'm no real nearer to deciding on a background than I was when I first started pondering it. But it's an interesting one. But I think, you know, if I had an alcohol marker, I do actually, but I don't like it. If I had a nice alcohol marker, I might just be tempted to do it with that, maybe in a yellow. Now I'm not very good at even coverage with a yellow, you know, getting every little bit, but with the marker it would bleed through the page. You could turn over and you'd be able to see where you'd missed, so that would be good. I'm trying to just make it a bit more even. Yeah, I've got a couple of Sharpies, but the smell is, oh, I cannot abide it. There we go, so there's that little section. We've got quite a few flowers and our beetle up here. Now I'm going to do the beetle first. I want him to be a sort of rusty type colour. I've always, oh, I can't get the pencil out though. And so this one here, which is called Sienna Brown, I thought could be quite a good one. I want him to look slightly shiny though, if I can. So my aim is to put a much darker layer around the edge and then sort of fade it in towards the middle to leave a sort of shine of nothing in the centre, just a little bit like that. Now I'm thinking I want something darker right on the edge and for the legs. I think we'll have to use, what's that? Yeah, that's good. I'm going to use the dark umber, but I've got to sharpen it, so bear with me. It's quite fine, the legs, so we've got quite a sharp point, but I'm going to have to go really carefully or else I might snap it off. I'm quite good at doing that. Come on, pencil, that's it. And I don't want to do that because I want it kept fine so that I can get into these little itty bitty details. I did this one quite recently in miniature Enchanted Forest. That was itty bitty. I use pens, it's really small. I'm going to go around the edge here too. It won't look as dark as the legs because we've got this other colour underneath it, but it will darken a little more. There we go. Now I think I'm just going to grab the brown ochre just to make a yellowy bit, just where I sort of am fading it around that centre. Yeah, I don't know if you can see much difference, but I can. Now, all these lovely florals. This one I'm going to do a sort of centre and then some different colours here. Let's grab a, sorry, reaching across the camera there, the sand for the centre. That's what I grabbed. Now I'm going to put it down, including on those dots. You can go inside or on the dots. You can leave the dots to be petal coloured if you would rather. And what I want is a bit of a darker layer just inside those dots. Now I was going to grab a darker pencil, but I think layering this one up is going to do the trick. There's quite a significant contrast between, I thought I might have to grab an orange, but that looks pretty orangey to me. So I'm absolutely happy with that. So I'm going to leave that there. Now we have all our petals. I'm just looking at all the colours that we've got left. I don't want anything too dark because we've got this dark beetle. I want him to stand out. So I might grab this. Now this is a very pretty light aqua. And I might do that all over and then darken it up in places. There's a slightly darker pencil than this, so I'm just going to put a layer of this all over. Now I can't decide at the minute, do I go darker on the tips of the leaves or in the centre, and I'm thinking maybe in the centre because we're trying to ignore that there's two sets of leaves. So if we go darker in the centre, then it sort of will work, I think. Maybe I'm not making any sense. In my head it makes sense. When I say it out loud, it really doesn't. Hey, I think the end of that leaf hasn't been coloured. Anyway, I'm not going to do it right now. I may just totally forget, knowing me. You could pair up some of these because we paired up a few things at the bottom, and I'm wondering whether to pair up those two as the same colour. But we haven't got round to that bit yet. I don't think any of the others look like this one, so this one will be the only one this colour. So I'm going to leave that there for a moment and grab, this is the parrot green it's called, but I think if I put a bit of it here and then just fade it out from the centre, I think it will look rather pretty. Like that. Try and sort of fade it a bit. And then I'm going to go back to the light aqua and just go back over a little here where it's fading, just to tidy it up a little bit. If you feel there isn't enough of a contrast between the two colours, you can use an even darker one in the middle, just around here. Not sure what there is. I'll find something in a minute and show you, because you could leave it at the 2 if you're happy, but I'll just show you what happens if we add a third one, just for the sake of it really. Oh, got a bit there that doesn't want to be coloured in. There we go. Got this colour. What's this colour? This is jade blue. I think this is a bit darker. So just pop a bit down. Goes very nicely with that yellow, I'm thinking. There we go. That's that. Yeah, it's a bit darker. We'll leave those there. Okay, next, let's think again about our beetle. I don't want to do oranges and things too close to him. I do want an orange flower, but I'm going to decide on this one next. We could go with a pink. Let's use these two. We have a rose red and we have a pink. Those two. Okay, I'm going to do that very centre bit first with this colour. Oops. Oh, there we go. The light yellow. Okay. And now I'm being a bit conventionally boring, doing the centres yellow, but that's what I'm in the mood for. Okay, I'm going to start with my dark, which is my rose red. Now there's a fair difference between these two, so I'm going to have to fade it quite a bit, or else I'll have a sort of transition line between the two colours. I have got that quite a bit with my leaves, and I think it's not too bad. This is a very Barbie pink. It isn't the colour I was expecting. I think it's going to go well with that pink. So I'm just going to try and gently fade like that. Holding the pencil a bit further down helps you to reduce the pressure on it, which will fade the colour. Now we've basically got a dark bit and a light bit. That's okay, I'm just going to finish this bit now. Go like that, and then I can just blend that in, blend that out I suppose. Just pull the colour out a little bit, so we've got a more even fade all the way around. Like that, and then I'm going to grab this one, the pink, which is called pink, and do the outside. I might start on the outside actually, sort of draw it in. This is a bit of a salmony colour, I'm not sure how well it goes with this other pink. I think I will have to colour over it so that it works, they work together. I think it's brightening up outside, it hasn't actually rained. But you never know, might be the calm before the storm, as they say. We'll wait and see. I'm thinking that I probably am not going to do any background on this. Not even a sort of black border or anything. I do have a gold or copper pen I could use, but I think I'm not sure how well they're gonna match. I haven't got a thick, good black pen. I think all mine have run out. Okay, so there's our pink flower. Oops. Now let's go for an orange one here. So I think I'm going to leave the centre and do it orange. We've got a goldenrod actually, which I'll use for the centre. Layering it up a lot and then reducing it out, and I'm sort of ignoring the fact that that centre stops there. Just spreading it out a bit like that. Then we've got this nice orangey colour. It's called yellowish orange, and we'll come in from the opposite direction and then just blend into the gold. Now a colour we haven't got yet, which we're going to do here, is a sort of violets, I think. I think it will be really nice next to this orangey colour. It's weird, my son says I'm totally wrong, but I think orange and violets, you know, the sort of bluey purples, go really well. I used to have a purple, violety purple carpet in my house with orange, yellow and red walls. Red? Purple. I think there's a purple, a yellow and an orange. So this one we're going to do in the violets. We have got, I think we've got ultramarine, violet blue, imperial, violet and violet. I prefer the bluey tones, so I think that's what I'm going to do, but I'm actually going to use the violet blue on the outside first and make it lighter in the middle, just so it's a bit different, because these are all darker in the middle. I just think it'll be, make a change. So I know I'm going around this edge, I am going to make it, I am going to pull that in. I'm just sort of getting organised in my head as to where my border is. And then, this is beautiful. Fade it in like that. Isn't it just a gorgeous colour? It's just enough pink and all red in there to make it really pretty. And this is called violet blue, but for me that's a pure purple. Anyway, apparently I do my colours wrong. Never mind. I've probably gone a bit overboard with this, but I just like it. We'll put something lighter in the middle, it'll tone it down a bit. There we go. Thinking, yeah, if I put a bit of this imperial violet in the middle, I think it's a little bit paler. And just fade that out. And then we have this one. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I didn't spend long on that one, but I like it. What have we got left? We've got more blues, we've got dark blues, we've done quite a few pinks. We've done quite a good mix, I think. I've got some really light blues, so I think I might use those, like these two. So this one is true blue, and this one is cloud blue. They're quite different. One's quite grey, but I think I'll do that. I might do the lighter one in the middle. It desperately needs sharpening, bear with me. There we go. So I'm going to do the lighter one, the cloud blue, in the middle. Trying to layer it up a little bit so that you can see it, because it is quite pale. It's quite grey, isn't it? There we go. And then we've got this one. Oh. This is the true blue. And I can't decide whether to do it lighter in the middle or... yeah, I think I will. I think I'll keep it lighter in the middle. I'm just going to actually do it all the same first. Just get some colour there. And then... yeah, darker on the tips of the petals, I think. So just bring the darker in. Just thinking my mum hasn't called me, so I'm sort of half expecting the phone to ring any minute. What time is it? It's 2. It's Friday today, recording this. I've decided that for my little line, it goes all the way around the edge, I'm going to use the gold pencil. So I'm going to come out so you can see the whole thing. Yeah, and then I'm just going to put this gold all around the edge, and then that'll be me done. Now you can use a gold pen if you would rather, because pencils aren't always as vibrant. You could use black if you like. I had thought about black, but I just decided to try something different and see what this gold looks like really. I don't know if I've used it much. It's been sharpened, I think, but I don't remember. You could even make the whole background this colour if you wanted, because it's very different. Or silver. But I think I'm just going to leave it white. I think all these bright colours will stand out with a white background. Maybe I'm being lazy because it's Friday afternoon, I don't know. Oh, I've got much room to get my arm round. There'd be a pencil sharpener and a pile of pencils, oops, next to me. I'm going to twist it. I don't usually like to twist, but as it's the picture works anyway up, and you might be doing the same thing if you're colouring with me anyway. Oh, there's a bit of leaf I said I'd missed, the end of the petal, wasn't there? The end of the leaf. I'm just going to look for that. Where was it? There. I think that was it. I'm just double checking. Yeah, I think we're done. So there it is. I am definitely happy with it staying white. I think yes, maybe a black border on the outside might work, but I definitely don't want anything in the middle, and I am going to leave it there. So thank you very much for watching. Gosh, I've used a lot of pencils. I've got to try and work out how to get them back in the box and what order to put them in. Wish me luck. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to subscribe if you haven't already, and happy colouring.